We hate to be in it, but we love to read it. We've got some more relationship drama. The first story is, I am leaving my girlfriend because she's been trying to have an affair. Keyword trying. I'm intrigued. This story came January 8th, 2019. This is hard. We've been together for nearly 8 years. We've built a life together, so there's so much to this, but basically, I did that thing that everyone in a relationship should be wary of. I looked through her phone, and I found messages upon messages from a mutual friend who lives out of state now that are concerning. Initially, I was gonna leave right then and there, but I wanted to try to talk to her. So I gave her almost 3 chances to own up to it. The first time I was really vague and I just asked if there was someone else. She flat out denied it. I thought I was prepared for her to deny it, but turns out I wasn't. Then the other times I got more and more pointed. Finally, she admitted that the guy had messaged her and flirted with her, but we knew that he was that way, and while she didn't tell him to F off, she wasn't into it. Now, I didn't see any messages from her at the beginning that showed she was exactly complicit in it. So while I didn't believe her, I tried to give her a chance. I know it's stupid, but we've been together for so long and we have built a life together. But then I dug again. And there it was, all of it. And worst of all, she took the time to insult me. That hurts. So effing much, that hurts. I know it's my fault and I know what I could have worked on in this relationship, but I really tried. Every day I tried. But for her to tell someone else things about me like that, I can't help but feel broken. So right now I'm waiting for her to wake up and leave for work. Then I am packing what I can and heading to a friend's place. And I don't know, I spent 8 years in this relationship and I'm gonna walk away from it. I wrote a note on my phone that I'm gonna write for her after she leaves. It says everything I can think of. I mulled over what to say nonstop. Somewhat satisfyingly, I'm gonna tell her how she did this. To know that and remember that. I'm scared, I'm lost, and so much so I don't wanna have to do this. But I have to, and I know ultimately it's going to get better. We have an update, which went the next day. So we had our talk last night. I got back and she tried to Nope, she did not try to crap jokes. She tried to crack a couple of jokes. Like things were normal. I started it off and I told her that I loved her and I had for nearly 8 years that we were together, but this is something I can't forgive or forget. I told her I knew everything that was said between them. It disgusted me. I told her that it hurt deeply and that she did this. Now, I told her I didn't believe that I'd be okay because of this for a long time. That's half true. This will of course take plenty of healing, but I know that I'll be okay. Now for her side. She told me that none of this had to do with me. None of it was my fault. It was all her mistake, her mess up. She's been feeling unhappy just about life for a while now. She felt stuck in life and aimless. Then this guy, who was an ex-friend, came along and gave her attention, and it distracted her from how unhappy she was with how her life was. But then it started to progress to a point that she didn't know what to do. None of what she said she meant to him. She said it because she knew that he wanted to hear it, that it almost didn't seem real to her. It almost just felt like a game. I told her it was real to me, that she still said all of those things, that she can't take that back or undo it. She told me that she never intended to hurt me. That has been the hardest thing for her because she knew I treated her better than anyone else will, that I'm the only person who had and will put up with her BS. She told me I really did treat her better than she deserved. This relationship is officially over though. I know there's probably more that I could have done, but my real takeaway is that I can't let go of it. I need to move on and start to live a new chapter of my life. I haven't told her this yet. I'm going to on Monday, but I have an opportunity in a new place with a coworker. Their roommate leaves in a few months, so that gives me time to save and get some of my life back in order. I have a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of things to figure out. As plenty of people had pointed out, this will be the first time in a long time that I will be financially and personally independent. I will only have me to worry about. That is something that'll take some work, but I'm going to welcome the challenge and spend as much time as I can trying to be who I am more than ever. And you think it would stop there, but we have another update. So I guess not. It came almost a month later. We're now at February 1st, 2019. First things first, I'm sick, going to the doctor Monday. I think I have an ulcer in my stomach, not sure. Ugh, yikes. So I've been dealing with that. But as far as everything else, moving into my new place in about a week, talk with my ex on and off. Wouldn't say things are friendly, okay, but we're being civil. There's nothing really for us to talk about anymore, so it's been like once a week, just something random. We had lunch a couple weeks ago and she opened up a lot. She has a lot of growing to do. I do too, of course, and she's not doing anything with that guy. She just wants to focus on herself and bettering herself. Until this past week, being too sick to go out, I've been hanging out with friends and goofing off. I tried to brave a small concert the other day, but I almost threw up while I was there. I've been meaning to make an update and I'm sorry I haven't. Things are all right. I've got things going for me. Been basically focusing on that, budgeting, making various lists of things I need and things I want to do, and just generally trying to figure out my life. I feel like this is a happy ending. This is one of those situations where I feel like it's just a blessing in disguise. It's awful. It needed to happen though, because I think better things are coming in the future. We just wish you well, go our separate ways, and better things are coming. Next story, my boyfriend and I had an argument that is giving me red flags. Is it enough to end our years-long relationship? Please advise. This story came October 29th, 2024. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 5 years, and we have lived together for 1.5 years now. For context, I was getting ready to go to a Halloween potluck with some of my girlfriends and their respective boyfriends. When I was getting ready, my boyfriend began discussing the idea of a curfew with me, explaining that no woman should be out late because nothing good happens late into the night, and that I shouldn't be out till 3 a.m. I explained that I don't want to be out that long, but the idea of him putting a curfew on me made me uncomfortable. I dare a man to try to give me a curfew. He told me that unless he is physically there with me, I shouldn't be out of the house late and at a party because I am female. I told him there is no need for him to be this controlling with me and that I was confused since he had never done anything like this before. I go to social events pretty regularly, but rarely go to parties like this, maybe once every 3 months. He was also invited twice to come to this party with me and declined both times. I asked my boyfriend why he's saying all of this, and he just said, I have standards. These are my standards. If you don't like them, you don't have to live with me anymore. I'm not budging on this. And then explained that now I expect you home at 1 a.m. because you're pissing me off because I should be saying 11 p.m. This freaked me out. I packed a bag, left my parents' house, and I haven't been back since. I don't know what to do from here. I want to emphasize he's never done anything like this before, which really threw me off, and hence why I'm asking for advice on the internet. I left the house crying and upset, and my boyfriend hasn't reached out in over 72 hours to check in or initiate a chat. Ideally, I would like a conversation to be started by him, but I'm convinced my boyfriend has no shame for his actions and believes that I am the one in the wrong. Please let me know what you, an unbiased random internet stranger, thinks about the situation. I love my relationship my boyfriend and I have built together, but this seems like a huge red flag to me. Yeah, to me anyways. Some people might not see it as a red flag. Couldn't be me. We have our first update. It came 8 months later. We are now at July 7th, 2025. This update is not easy for me to write, but I am moving out of state next week and I want to put this out to finally lay this chapter of my life to rest. The argument from my last post occurred on Saturday late afternoon. I posted to Reddit a few days later after I hadn't heard from him. By Wednesday, I placed an order for a small U-Haul truck to move out the following Saturday, but I still hadn't heard from him. My family thought it was best not to tell him that I was coming to pick up my belongings until the day of because we were afraid that he would destroy my things. He is an extreme minimalist, so all the furniture, decor, tools, etc. came 100% out of my pocket. At that point, I had thousands of dollars worth of belongings in there and even more invaluable mementos. Anyways, Saturday comes around, still hadn't heard anything on his end. I texted him that morning telling him my parents were coming to remove my belongings and to please be out of the house while they did this. He texted me back saying, no, stop telling me what to do. At this point, he knows they're coming and exactly when. For my safety, I just stayed home. When my parents got there, my mother knocked on the door. No answer. Doorbell. No answer. I texted her to go into the garage and see if his vehicle is there. The garage opened and he had thrown my belongings into the garage. Things were scattered around the garage floor, whatever. They noted that his vehicle was there though, so he must be inside. My family starts grabbing stuff from the floor and putting it into the truck. Then he comes out. My mother said he looked psychotic almost. He doesn't do substances and wasn't drinking for health reasons, but just that he looked off. When he came out, he made it very clear to my mother that he was holding a weapon, a pew-pew, because that word gets flagged on social media for obvious reasons. That he was holding one of those in his sweatpants pocket. He told them to get off his property. My mother asked him if he was all right. Remember, he and I had been together for a long time at this point. My family knows him well. This was all such strange behavior from him, and my mother was genuinely concerned. In response, he tells my mom, "I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be?" My mom asks if she could go inside and get the rest of my belongings. He says no. My mother reminds him that I had been without my essentials for a week now, like my medication, glasses, contacts, work badge, my underpants, and she asks to step inside for 5 minutes to just retrieve those things. He agrees. My mother walks into the house and sees an AR-57 set up in the kitchen, ready to go. She immediately turned around, told everyone outside loading the truck to get in the car, and went home. I spent the next few hours trying to arrange a police escort for the rest of my belongings. In hindsight, we should have just done that in the first place. As I was working with that, my mom called the homeowners, his parents, who live 2 to 3 hours away. We tell them everything up until this point, and they are distraught. They say they're on their way. We received a call from the parents later that evening stating that he's out of the house and being monitored back at their home. We moved everything out afterwards. I was feeling stressed reading all of that because I'm like, am I going to get to some crazy dark part here? Or do they make it out okay? I'm glad everyone's safe. I then get a text from him that Sunday where he essentially said that he didn't know why I was breaking up with him, that he was waiting for me to reach out to him while he was reflecting on everything that happened, blah, blah, blah. We went back and forth a bit where I was telling him that he threatened my family, and for that, I couldn't forgive him. He said he wanted to talk about everything, but I told him that I wasn't ready for it. I followed it up with a, "You should work on yourself, and if I want to talk, I will reach out" type of text. He responded with a bunch of okays and then, "Just don't F your ex. I hate that guy. Heard really bad things about him." Oh, he's referring to himself here since he's the only boyfriend I've ever had. It was super strange and off-putting to receive a joking text like that when a few hours earlier, he threatened my family with weapons. I ignored him. He also sent an interesting apology to my mother. To me, it's a liability that his lawyer mother asked him to send. Highlights included, "I know you felt threatened by what you saw, and there's no excuse for having those out while people are present at my house," yada, yada, yada. Seeing a concealed or otherwise, in that sort of situation is enough to shock someone, especially those unfamiliar with these weapons. And my parents agree and have asked me to give my weapons up until I am more responsible and careful. That was definitely a constructed text message for sure. He texted me the next day, again, saying, "I know I've acted nonchalant about things and it's not a good habit. I can't continue to live in limbo. I hope you will come over and talk to me in person. False hope is not doing me any good. I need to move on with my life." Where's the false hope? I literally said, "I can't forgive you, and if I want to talk, I'll reach out. Bye-bye." I responded with, "I do not want to give you false hope, but I am not in a place of forgiveness. I think it's time that we continue to move on with our separate lives." This is when he responds with, "Listen, come talk to me. I feel awful that I used your own love for me as a lever against you. I hate the person who did that to you every day. I try to bury that part of me." Lots to digest there. We exchanged a few more texts and I agreed to have a conversation in person. See, I would be so scared. I I would not have it at the house. It would be during the day and it would be in public. I now understand that I should never have entertained this idea in the first place. I was emotional and confused at the time. I had been with him for years at this point and I wanted clarity on what drove him to do this. I told him my availability to talk on a Thursday and he said he wasn't sure if he was available, but would let me know. I didn't hear back from him until Thursday at 8:15 p.m. when he asked, "Are you still coming or no?" A location hadn't been discussed. It was dark out. So I just suggested that we meet the following morning. That is when he sends, "8:30 is too late for you now," followed by, "I said your curfew was 1 a.m. so you're good. Just get your ass over here to talk. I am not going to do this 9 a.m. BS or I will put a scorpion in your bed." I responded and he texts back saying, "I'm on my way." I'm sorry, you're what? At this point, I was in a new safe place in location A. My mother was in location B and my father was in location C. I had to call and let everyone know that he was going to show up at one of their locations since he knows where they both live. He showed up at location C where my father was. My father told me that he was scared for his safety and home. Luckily, nothing happened. He waited outside for a bit after texting me here and then left. This whole night rattled me. I stayed up all night, scared he was going to show up at my mom's place next or mine. I ignored his texts. He started to call. He left an eerily calm, cool, and collected voicemail wondering when we were going to chat, saying that if I wanted to have that conversation, I am welcome to come to his house whenever. I texted him back, threatening a restraining order if he made contact with me again. A month later, he texted, "Hey, obviously what happened happened. I'm sorry I made you feel unsafe. That's not who I am as a person or who I want to be. I wish you the best in whatever you do." And that is the last I heard from him. All of this could have played out much worse. I am relieved for the safety of my family and my own. I'm fortunate enough to have gotten out when I did. And yes, I understand things could have been differently on my end. I learned a lot about myself from this experience. I chose to text him in the non-confrontational way, and I did that for my safety. We live in a small community. I genuinely believe this man is dangerous and could harm my family, my dog, my friends, etc. if I angered him. We are all within a mile or two from each other, and he knows where to find all of them and me if he wanted to. Like, can't we make some kind of, I know a lot of stories we've read prove that restraining orders aren't always helpful, but even just making a report or documenting all these texts, voicemails, the strange behavior, because God forbid he comes back in the future. I think we should have all that evidence. Terrifying. That is more than just red flags in that argument. We have more drama, more stories, but first we're hydrating. I'm hydrating with ginger tea. Let me know what's in your cup. Cheers. Your guys' comments about Lila the other day had me actually laughing out loud. Someone commented, "Not Lila always ignoring us." And also, "Lila looks like she wants to throw paws." Lila, are we ignoring again today? Boo-boo, these are your friends. Don't you want to see your friends? You were literally going crazy with her hedgehog toy for like the last hour. Now she's... Are you just too cool for us? Lila, do you want to see your friends? Don't you want to see your friends? Perfect. Oh, I knew you loved them. Well, they're not physically here. They're not here. They're on the camera. But if they were, we would all have a party. Next story. Am I wrong for questioning my whole relationship after I found out my boyfriend was pocketing my rent money? This story came April 4th, 2025. We've been together for 5 years. We live on a property my boyfriend's dad is renting. His mom and dad live in one house on the property and we live on the other. When we moved in, he told us the rent was $1,600 for the house, so $800 each for my boyfriend and I. A steal, I know. However, I just found out that my boyfriend and his dad came to an agreement at the start of the lease last spring that his dad, would pay our rent in full and that the money I pay my boyfriend for rent, my boyfriend could keep. Oh, see, I wouldn't like not knowing that. I should be in that agreement, no? Let me just keep reading. I'm like forming all these opinions. He said they wanted to help him out by paying his rent and his car while he lived there with them. So this was how they thought to do it. I immediately felt betrayed for not being involved in knowing about this, but I also felt like it's a bit unethical because I wasn't aware of where my rent money was going. I had been suspicious for a while, but I finally had the courage to ask. He admitted it and my stomach sank. His first reaction was to be mad at me for being upset about it. His point of view is that they didn't tell me because it's not my business since I'm paying rent regardless. Therefore, if his dad wants to give him $800 a month for his car and also pay his rent to help him, this is a less roundabout way of doing it. He just keeps the $800 that I'm sending for rent. Okay, now that's another perspective. So say you guys paid rent and his dad decided to send $800 back to the boyfriend to help him out every month. That could technically be your money. I understand that. He said, in essence, it isn't my money since it's rent money, so I shouldn't care where it ends up. He also said his dad asked him to keep it between him and his parents, so he was put in a weird position. I can see how this logically makes sense, but I can't help but feel like I've been paying him $800 a month to keep without my knowledge. I'm not upset about his parents helping him. This is between them, and I don't want to have my rent covered either. I'm grateful for the cheap rent, and I believe I should be paying rent. It's just the dishonesty and the fact that he just transferred my rent money into his bank account without telling me for a year that feels so wrong to me. I can also understand that too. Like, I just want to be in on this agreement. We split everything else equally, like groceries, utilities, internet, except the occasional date night where he pays. I'm close with his family and frequently have them over for dinner, so it hurts that they all knew something I didn't. I have a full-time job and a side job. My boyfriend is self-employed but doesn't make too much from that. I don't typically mind, but I would like us to be more open with each other about finances. I don't know how to move forward from this, even though I want to be understanding and kind to him because he says it's a nuanced situation and that I should know he isn't the type of person to steal from me. He apologized for the dishonesty, but still does not see the issue. The relationship hasn't been perfect, but it has been worth staying in for 5 years. I just don't know how to get rid of this gut feeling that the situation doesn't sit right with me. Plus, rent was due yesterday and I haven't paid him yet. Is this grounds for a breakup or can we work through it? If so, how? Or is it truly none of my business? Ooh, I want to hear from people about this one. Ooh, it's a little spicy. Not that kind of spicy. We do have an update, so we're gonna find out what ended up happening. The update came 6 weeks later. We're now at May 23rd, 2025. I've been with my boyfriend for 6 years now. He's a content creator and posts 2 to 3 times a year when certain products are released. I have a 9-to-5 job that is my passion. I work from home about 35 hours a week, 40 on a hard week, and I have a side job related to my full-time job that takes about 10 to 15 hours a month. I love my job, and although it can be stressful at times, it's ultimately what I want to be doing. And I really don't think I overwork or prioritize it more than other things. I've always been super open about finances, but my boyfriend has not, which I respected, and I didn't push after some unpleasant conversations about it. I thought as long as he had it together, I was okay with it. I recently found out that he's getting help from his parents on rent and his car payment, so I'm the only one paying rent essentially. We know all that. And he hasn't made a livable wage from his content creation since around the vid years. That word also gets flagged on here all the time, which is why he needs the help from his parents. When he isn't making content, which he makes about 3 weeks out of the year, he's doing whatever he wants all day long. We have been living together for 2 years now, and it's frustrating that he hasn't tried to find another source of income and is okay just taking help from his parents. He's not a 9 to 5 type person, and that's okay, but I would like him to do something. We were arguing recently over the financial situation, and he told me that my job is taking away from the ability to be 100% present in our relationship, and that it doesn't benefit him at all. He thinks the time I spend working and then the carryover after work, whether it's stress of tiredness, it's affecting us negatively. He also said he doesn't benefit from me having this job. I disagree, since I'm the only one actually affording rent and our split household costs like groceries. He also said that if my focus was 100% on our household, then our house between both of us would be spotless. Is he planning on just living off his dad's money forever? Is that the plan? If that's what you want to do, just let me know though, because it sounds to me like she's got goals and passion, so you just might not be the right person for her. By all means, do whatever you want to do. I'll admit I'm messier, occasionally leaving my coffee mug and breakfast dishes in the sink until after work, or not getting a chance to clean the litter box during my workday. I also have ADHD, so I will let laundry pile up and my office get cluttered, but I'm working on it, and I always make sure our common area is tidy. I think this is normal, but he sees it as a lack of investment on my part. It could also be spotless since he just stays home all day. I'm confused and annoyed. That's all. For the record, no, he doesn't do more of the housework than me, other than vacuuming the house 1 to 2 times a day. But dishes, bathrooms, everything else, we split. I do most of the cooking too. He basically told me that he doesn't regret not having had a job for the past 2 years because we were going to spend a lot of time together, and that I'm ungrateful for not seeing the things he does for me, like make the occasional breakfast or coffee during work. I am grateful for these moments, but in my opinion, now is when we should be working to build a life together, which involves financial contribution from both parties. I honestly would have preferred less time together in the last 2 years if it meant that we could talk about marriage, buying a house, having kids in a realistic way. Given that I'm supporting myself on about $60K a year and he isn't contributing anything else, scares me. He said he never wants to be the person that work takes them away from their family or who prioritizes work over their family. He's raised the concern that if we had kids, I would be distracted by my job. I just need to not say anything else. I had working parents growing up, and it just makes sense to me that I'd be able to do both without being villainized. Do you know how many parents don't have that option? They have to work, both of them, both full-time incomes, just to afford to have children. Is that not like majority of the world right now? And even then, their full-time job is not even enough in this economy. This is wild. His belittling of my job is hurtful because he knows it's my dream job and a super competitive field, so I care about it. But I also do prioritize our home the rest of the time. I feel like he doesn't understand since he's never had a normal job. He's been working on creating an app that he says it can bring us a lot of money in the future, and that he's upset that I'm not being super supportive of it. Honestly, I am supportive and I'm happy he's so invested in this project, but I wanted him to find a steadier source of income first. Is this just a difference in values that we can work through, or does it sound like a deal breaker? I forgot an important detail. He said he had to work on his mental health for the past few years, which is why he didn't seek a job sooner as well. So this made me feel bad because I am empathetic to his mental health struggles, but he never shared this with me. So from my point of view, it looks like a lack of care or effort. And then we have the final update. It's a quick one. July 23rd, 2025, 2 months after the last update. Oh, and it starts with, I'm moving out. I got approved for an apartment this weekend, and I'm excited to have the space to gain my own perspective and clarity. We're staying together for now, and we'll see how it goes when I move out. You know what I just thought? Because you found out your $800 was just going to him under that agreement, I guess it kind of enables him to not go out and get a job. If he's getting help financially, doesn't have rent to pay, can do whatever he wants at home, you know? So if you could take that $800, put it towards your own place, That's a smart girl right there. We're staying together for now, and we will see how it goes when I move out. I think he's seeing it as an opportunity for me to regret moving out and come back to him, but I want it to be an opportunity for him to get his life together and build a life with me. I'm aware it's unlikely that things will work out, but I am hoping. I think whether we break up or stay together, moving out is my next best step. Edit. We only lived in the house for about a year when I found out about the rent. We haven't lived together the whole 5 years of the relationship. I think this was a great idea. And maybe it will be a motivation for him to go out, work on his mental health, get a job, and you guys can take future steps together in the future. You never know, really. Could go. Or you just, you guys go your separate ways. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings on these stories, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.